Okay, so got the pipe welded out here. Couple of tricks I used. I did get my plugs in and I got a hose hooked up to it, but I also use this ground so that when I'm laying this on the table, like I always use a ground connected to there. I can't really plug in a ground on this, maybe there's something better out there. Probably need something heavier than this. This wire's a bit warm, but this is pretty heavy cable. And I've got it attached to the pipe there where it's not moving around, and it keeps the thing grounded. But it was getting a little bit warm, so I would weld I would just do maybe 4 or 6 lines of 10 dips, let it cool off, go start over again. And then when I got up here, man, that weld's pretty close to this plug, and I just got these and they're kind of expensive, so I put a piece of exhaust wrap on there so that when I put it in there, it sealed up a little bit better too, because this pipe, as it got welded, it's amazing how round it is right now. But when I had it here, this was open in here, this thing was not even close to being round. So as I came around, man, that thing, it really rounded out. I was kind of worried about it, but it looks really good right now. So, but I do think that ground is nice. I wouldn't say you could sit here and hammer it, all day on that thing, but just a little bit, and then it cools off too. But I was extremely patient with this, and to be honest, it's probably the best I've felt behind a welder, and this is probably the best welding job I've ever done as far as appearance and the skill level that it took to do it. I'm super happy with it, and I love the blue on there. And I did find that when I was running it, I'd get that bead done, and I'd sit there and I could time it to where if I just started to come back with the gas, and I could just see it color it all the way back. And I tried to be consistent with how long I took with the gas. I've got 10 seconds of post flow, but I would hold off on it, let it sit there for like 3-4 seconds or maybe more. And then as soon as I pull it back, you could see it start to do what it was gonna do. And then you kind of knew where you were at, and you just roll it back and it would just color the whole thing in real nice and even. Pretty cool. So, one of those projects where I'm learning a lot on it, and man, I'm super pumped on it. It's a little bit too blue on the tip here. I might clean that up a little bit, but I may leave all these marks on here, man. I just think it looks cool. I gassed the hell out of the inside, and it's got a little bit of residue in there, but clean that up. This thing's gonna look good, and all we gotta do is stick it on there and weld it onto the pipe. So, super pumped. Okay, so I'm welding this bracket on here to support the back of this pipe, and I didn't want to weld this right to the can because this is just hollow. This is only, I think, 16 gauge, and I didn't think if I welded this right to this it would be strong enough. Like, you get a little back and forth and it might break it. So I put a piece of material here, shaped it to get it on there just right at the right angle, and then that'll give it a little more support out further. And then I didn't want to weld it all the way around because I was afraid that it would distort this can, so I just welded these 4 points, which I think is going to be strong enough. And then I'll put a couple of light beads in here, or depending on how much warpage I get. I'm just trying to keep it in the same spot. So as I'm doing this, it's moving a little bit. It's at a really oddball angle, as you can see. So in order to gauge whether this is moved back or forth, I made this little paper thing, and just to see, as long as at that mark it hits the end of that paper, then I know this angle is pretty close where I can, tap it one way or the other. I've got 6 tacks on here now. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on the bike and just refit it, make sure it's right. And then I'll do some small little weld outs and check it as I go. Okay, so I was trying to weld this sucker. I could not get this thing, it started okay, and man, this side was fine. This side over here was fine. This one here was like dirty, and I could not get it to weld. Couldn't get it to weld. I've been working it. Anyway, way too much heat on it, but it is what it is. It's in place, and I think it'll be fine. But I went to unhook everything, and I think I may have seen the problem here. My little stump that I tried to pull, and it worked up through all of this until I got to this thing, because I had to turn the amperage up. Was my grounding cable setup that I tried. And no bueno. So I guess that's a no on that one, but I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I'm sure there's solutions to this. This is just what I had, but she gone. So lesson learned. I got the whole pipe done. That thing's in place. The weld's gonna be fine on it. It just aggravated me, and I ended up putting way too much heat in it, and it just pisses me off. But hey, I'd rather have it there than this other stuff, and I'm gonna clean that up. Like, it's weird too, because like this side it just turned black, and then the other side wasn't. Like, it didn't get all that discoloration like that. So there's some, I don't know what, I got this thing, it was just laying around here. I don't know what this is exactly. I know it's stainless, but I don't know where it came from or what it is, so that's a risky take. I should have made my own little piece, but you know, all that stuff adds up, taking time. So anyway, we're gonna let it cool off, and I'll get it on the bike.